Southern Living magazine disabled comments on this post on Instagram. See if you can figure out why. It says, being a Southerner means having a heart which permeates into everything that you do, with the people that you meet, with every project that you take up, with each conversation that you have. There is soul, there is depth. And it links to an article on the Southern Living magazine's website where it tells us that Maneet Chauhan got her start in India before coming to the United States to attend Culinary Institute of America. I could have told you that without reading the article. I could see the picture. To be clear, I don't have any particular problems with Maneet. I don't know who this is, never met her. And I don't mean an insult to her. For all I know, she came here perfectly legally and she's a wonderful person. The problem that I do have is with her and with Southern Living magazine putting up this facade that acts as if this person from India is a part of Southern culture somehow, which totally negates what it even means to be a Southerner. I don't even claim to be a Southerner, okay? I came from Colorado. I lived there all my life, and I moved here somewhat recently, several years ago, in 2022 actually, so I've been here about 4 years. I don't even claim to be a Southerner, and I probably never will, because that's not who I am. It doesn't invalidate me as a person. It doesn't mean I'm less than or inferior. It doesn't even mean that I shouldn't have come here, to be clear, any more than it means that for Maneet. But what it does mean is that it's not good for me to come here and keep living the way I used to live and then tell everyone else around me that this is what it means to be Southern. I'm as Southern as you, and this is what being a Southerner is now. We're going to do Northern things in the South now, and you need to adapt to me and accept me as one of your own. I would hope that people around here would treat me with kindness, and they do, and I hope that people would treat Maneet with kindness, assuming she came here legally, otherwise she should be deported. But I don't know that's the case. Maybe what makes this especially problematic is that this is Southern Living magazine. This is supposed to be a herald of the culture. They're supposed to be a standard bearer for the beauty of the Southern heritage, and now they've completely sold out and are peddling the lie that, sure, you know, anything Southern, I guess, at this point. A lady from India cooking Indian food who just happens to be south of the Mason-Dixon line, I guess she's Southern. Hey, look, if she's Southern, I guess I'm Southern now. But we know that's not true. That's not the answer. You have to keep these things distinct. And again, it doesn't mean that she's inferior. It just means that there are definitions to some things that are immutable and aren't going to change because you feel like it or you stepped across a fence. The problem with believing that you can is that if something's being infringed upon, it's really, really hard to defend it if it doesn't actually have a concrete definition. And so what this would eventually lead to is the loss of what Southern culture actually is. Ironically, the more inclusive you try to be and the more people you try to pull into the big tent of Southern culture, the more it loses its meaning. It will soon cease to have any definition whatsoever, cease to have any uniqueness to it. Indian culture is one thing and Southern culture is another. And if you all pretend that they're just interchangeable, well, now you just kind of have one big mega culture that's not cohesive and doesn't make coherent sense as far as where it came from and where it's going. It's unintelligible. The other problem in this article, it's a quote she says at the end that really is kind of ironic. It's a quote at the very end, and she says, "It's the power of knowing that you don't need to know the same language to connect with somebody. What connects us as people is so much more than what divides us." That sounds like a really tweetable quote, but it's just wrong. If you don't know the same language as somebody, it's going to be downright hard to have a personal connection with them. Just ask the people at the Tower of Babel. God made us as communicative, social creatures. You're going to need to be able to communicate with someone in proper language if you're going to have a connection with them that is productive and healthy. It's just not going to work otherwise. And so apparently Maneet would be okay if we just mixed in a bunch of people from disparate cultures who don't even speak the same language or have the same cuisine or the same tradition or the same God. And we can just mix them together, and apparently what we have in common can unite us. Unclear what exactly we have in common other than just kind of being humans in the same place. Clearly that doesn't work if you look at history. And we could just overlook all our differences. The problem is you can't. Maneet seems to admire Southern culture in some sense. She came here, after all. She seems to like the place, and she's at least espousing a love for it. What she doesn't seem to realize is that her very attitudes towards culture as an institution, towards a people as a distinct group, is deeply toxic to those things and will eventually, if taken to the extreme, completely annihilate them. stripping them of meaning and taking away anything that made them what they were.